life is not always gentle, and truth is not always comforting. Some realities cut deep. They shake us, they hurt us, yet they are the very lessons that make us stronger, wiser, and unbreakable. Today, I want to share with you 7 truths that will hurt you, but they are the purest realities you must adapt if you wish to rise above mediocrity and live with strength and clarity. Listen with your heart, because each of these truths carries the weight of pain, but also the seed of liberation. These 7 things will change your thinking ability. First thing is, not everyone will love you, no matter how much good you carry. It hurts to realize that your kindness, your loyalty, your sacrifices will not always be appreciated. You can give your best and still be misunderstood, rejected, or even betrayed. But this reality teaches you that your worth does not depend on how others treat you. It reminds you to stop exhausting yourself for validation and to love yourself enough to walk away when love is not reciprocated. The moment you stop trying to be liked by everyone, you begin to attract the ones who truly see you. Second thing is, time will take everything from you eventually. Every smile, every embrace, every breath is temporary. You will lose people you love, opportunities you thought were yours forever, and even the strength of your own body will one day fade. This truth pierces the heart, but it is also what makes life precious. If you adapt to this reality, you stop wasting time on trivial grudges and learn to cherish every fleeting moment. You learn to live with urgency, not procrastination, because nothing is guaranteed, not even tomorrow. Third thing is, failure is not something that happens to a few unlucky people. It is something that every human being must experience, no matter how talented, prepared, or determined they are. The painful truth is that you will not succeed at everything you attempt. And when you fall, the impact will sting. Your pride will be wounded, your confidence shaken, and your heart may even whisper that you are not good enough. But failure is not the end of the road. It is simply part of the road itself. It is a teacher disguised as pain, a guide hidden within disappointment. Every time you fail, you are given an invitation to rise stronger, to refine your approach, and to discover a version of yourself that comfort and success would never have revealed. What makes failure hurt so much is that it challenges the illusion of control we all cling to. We want to believe that if we plan perfectly, work tirelessly, and stay disciplined, the outcome will always be in our favor. Yet life does not operate on our terms. And no matter how much effort you put in, there will be outcomes that break your expectations. This reality humbles you, and at first, it may feel cruel, but the truth is, failure strips away the illusion of perfection and teaches you resilience. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, sharpen your skills, and build mental toughness. Without failure, you would never learn patience, persistence, or the ability to adapt when life refuses to follow your script. There is another hidden beauty in failure. It reveals who truly belongs in your journey. When you stumble, not everyone will stay. Some will judge, some will leave, and some will lose faith in you. That loss hurts, but it also clears the path of those who were never meant to walk beside you in the first place. Failure exposes the fragile relationships built only on success and applause, and it strengthens the ones grounded in loyalty and trust. By embracing failure, you learn not only about yourself, but also about the people around you. You discover who supports you in silence, who lifts you when you are down, and who vanishes the moment things become difficult. This painful clarity is part of the gift that failure brings. In the end, failure is not the enemy. The real enemy is the fear of failure, because that fear paralyzes you before you even try. When you adapt to the reality that failure is inevitable, you remove its power to control you. You step forward knowing that you might fall, but you also know that you will rise. And each time you rise stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path that carves success into reality. Those who adapt to this truth stop running from failure and instead use it as fuel, turning pain into resilience and setbacks into stepping stones. That is how failure transforms from something that hurts into something that empowers. Fourth thing is one of the deepest pains you will encounter in life is realizing that people often forget the sacrifices you made from far quicker than you imagined. You may have stayed up countless nights for someone, supported them when no one else did, or even put your own dreams aside to help them achieve theirs. And yet, one day, they might walk away without acknowledgement, or worse, behave as if your efforts never existed. This truth cuts sharply because sacrifice is an investment of the heart. And when it goes unnoticed, the heart feels betrayed. But the reality is that human memory is short when it comes to what others give, and long when it comes to what they themselves need. The sooner you accept this, the less disappointment you will carry. The truth behind this reality lies in the way most people perceive life. They see through the lens of their own needs. When their hunger is satisfied, they rarely remember who fed them. When their storm has passed, they often forget who stood with them in the rain. This does not mean that all people are ungrateful, but it does mean that gratitude cannot always be expected, even when you believe it is deserved. This realization hurts because it confronts your hope for fairness, your desire for reciprocity, and your longing to feel valued. But once you adapt to it, you understand that expecting constant appreciation is a recipe for endless heartbreak. Instead, you shift your mindset toward giving without attachment to recognition. Sacrifice, when driven by expectation, becomes a transaction. And when that transaction is not completed with acknowledgement, you feel cheated. But if sacrifice is driven by integrity, by the principle of doing what aligns with your character, then even if the world forgets, you will not regret. The pain of being forgotten transforms into peace when you realize that you were true to yourself in the moment of giving. Your identity is not built on how others remember you, but on how you lived, how you acted, and how you stayed aligned with your values. When you live this way, the act itself becomes its own reward, even if the world never applauds. Over time, you will learn that life does not keep a ledger of fairness. People will forget gratitude will fade, and recognition may never come. But the purity of your sacrifice lies in the fact that you gave when you could have stayed silent. You helped when you could have walked away, and you carried someone when you could have left them behind. That truth is unshakable, even if it is not remembered. And in that realization lies a deeper kind of strength. The strength to act without needing validation. The strength to give without demanding memory. And the strength to continue walking forward, even when the footprints of your sacrifices are erased behind you. That strength hurts to learn, but once it is yours, it frees you from disappointment forever. Fifth thing is control, is one of the greatest illusions we hold onto, and life is relentless in teaching us that lesson. We plan, we organize, we calculate every detail in the hope that we can predict outcomes and shield ourselves from pain. Yet no matter how hard you try, there will always be moments when life reminds you that you are not in command. A sudden storm can ruin the best prepared harvest. An unforeseen event can alter your future in seconds, and even your own body may betray you without warning. This realization hurts because it challenges the prideful belief that effort guarantees certainty. But in truth, effort only guarantees growth, never absolute control. Once you accept this, you stop wasting energy fighting against the uncontrollable and start focusing on how to adapt with grace. The desire to control everything comes from fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of chaos, fear of the unknown. It is natural to want stability, but the more you cling to control, the more fragile you become. Every unexpected event then feels like an earthquake shaking the ground beneath you. This is why people who live in constant need of control often live in constant anxiety, because life does not bend to their grip. It is only when you begin to let go, when you release the need to dominate every outcome, that you begin to discover true resilience. The world will continue to be unpredictable, but your spirit becomes unshakable when you no longer tie your peace to control. Letting go of control does not mean surrendering to hopelessness. It means redirecting your energy toward what you can influence. You cannot command the storms of life, but you can learn how to build a stronger shelter. You cannot stop the winds from blowing, but you can adjust the sails of your ship to keep moving forward. The pain of accepting uncertainty transforms into wisdom when you learn to focus on your responses rather than the uncontrollable events themselves. This shift is liberating because instead of being paralyzed by fear, you begin to act with clarity and courage. You develop flexibility, patience, and the ability to find opportunity even in chaos. These are qualities that no amount of rigid control could ever give you. The moment you accept that life will never fully be under your command is the moment you unlock peace. It is not about abandoning discipline or responsibility. It is about realizing that control has limits and peace begins where acceptance starts. By adapting to this truth, you free yourself from endless frustration. You no longer see setbacks as personal failures, but as part of the rhythm of existence. You begin to live lighter, more focused on growth, and less consumed by resistance. And while this truth hurts When you first confront it, it eventually becomes the foundation of inner strength, the strength to endure storms without breaking, the strength to keep moving when the path changes, and the strength to trust that even in chaos, you can still rise. Sixth thing is one of the most painful truths you must face is that people will leave no matter how deeply you love them or how much you wish they would stay. Life has its own seasons, and just as the trees shed their leaves, when autumn arrives, relationships too may wither when their time has come. Some people leave because they grow in a different direction, others because circumstances pull them away, and sometimes they leave without explanation. This reality pierces the heart because attachment makes us believe that love is a permanent shield against separation. But when the day arrives, you realize that love does not always mean forever, and that realization can feel like the ground crumbling beneath your feet. At first, the pain of loss makes you question yourself. You ask why they left, whether you were not enough, whether you could have done something to prevent it. These questions eat away at your peace because the human heart craves answers, yet often receives silence. It is in these moments of doubt that you must remind yourself people leaving is not always about you. Many times, it is about their journey, their choices, their battles that you may never see. Carrying the burden of blame only deepens the wound, while understanding that departures are part of the human story gives you a chance to breathe again. Acceptance does not erase the hurt, but it softens the self-inflicted suffering that comes from endless questioning. The emptiness left behind when someone departs can also become a mirror, forcing you to confront your own strength. In the absence of their presence, you discover that you are still alive, still capable of moving, still capable of building meaning. Loss has a way of breaking you open, exposing your vulnerabilities, but also revealing the resilience you didn't know you had. Each time you face abandonment or loss, you gain the ability to rebuild, to trust again, and to live with deeper compassion. This resilience is not built by denying pain, but by allowing it to teach you without consuming you. That is why departures, though brutal, can serve as silent mentors that train your soul in endurance and self-reliance. Ultimately, the reality that people will leave reminds you of the impermanence of everything. Nothing in this life is guaranteed to last. Not relationships, not possessions, not even your own body. And though this truth hurts, it carries a gift, the ability to love more purely. When you stop expecting permanence, you begin to cherish the present more deeply. You learn to love people for who they are now, not for who you want them to remain forever. You stop taking moments for granted and instead embrace them as treasures that might not return. In this way, the pain of departures transforms into wisdom. Wisdom that teaches you to hold gently, to release gracefully, and to live fully in the fleeting now. Seventh thing is perhaps the most piercing truth of all, is that time will not wait for you. Every second that passes is a fragment of your life you can never reclaim, and yet most of us live as if we have an endless supply. We postpone dreams, delay apologies, and put off living fully because we believe there will always be another tomorrow. But tomorrow is never promised. One day, without warning, the clock will strike its final moment.